Now your WMBD Morning Rush. Non-stop news, weather, and traffic to start your day.
Good Friday morning. I'm Mark Welp.
And I'm Shelby Roberts. It's now time for the Morning Rush.
The swing vote that cost Peoria's fire department 22 firefighters.
Peoria City Councilman Dennis Sear is weighing in after the decision on Tuesday to close 2 fire engines. Sear says that he chose the best option for his constituents, who he says consistently tell him they're sick and tired of paying taxes.
It is a catch-22. Sear says it's either pay higher taxes or cut services. Sear in favor of closing 2 engine companies, but not the one in his district. And he says it really wasn't up to him.
Fighting with Peoria's fire chief on the matter for months, Sear says he lost that battle. The fire chief putting his foot down, saying if 2 engines have to be cut, it'll be engine 4 and 20.
We don't want more taxes. What do we have to do? We have to make some more cuts. And cuts are hard for everybody. And I'm not happy about losing a station. But again, I just have to accept the recommendation from the professional, which is chief artist.
Councilman Sear says he's been getting a lot of heat, but says he can't please everyone. He says his main goal is to be fiscally responsible.
Well, a serial killer podcast leads to a homicide investigation in LaSalle County. Remains reportedly found at an old truck wash lot on Wednesday. Just last week, Phil Chalmers, the host of the serial killer podcast, Where Are the Bodies Buried, posted an interview with 61-year-old Delmas Colvin. He's also known as the Interstate Strangler. Colvin claims he killed around 50 people starting in the 80s until he got a life sentence back in 2006. He says one of the women he killed was in LaSalle, Illinois.
If you're standing in front of the truck wash, okay, it's on the other side of the road. Other side of the road, there's a ditch between the truck wash and the road. Okay. On the other side of the road, there's no ditch.
Okay.
Okay? That's just straight woods where you could walk in.
And Colvin said the woman had dirty blonde hair. He now faces a life sentence at the Lebanon Correctional Institution in Ohio. He's charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of complicity aggravated murder. His next review month is not for another 52 years.
After being accused of burning down his own home, a Dunlap man is now facing 1 count of residential arson. It took 5 fire departments nearly 2 hours to put out the massive fire Wednesday morning. The smoke visible from miles away, and the $350,000 house on Route 91 destroyed. Yesterday, a judge set Justin Halliburton's bond at $100,000. The 41-year-old is scheduled to be back in court in early October.
METAMORA High School students will be returning to the classroom next week. The board approved a full-day split rotating schedule. That splits students into 2 different groups, allowing half of the student body to be at the school at one time. While one group will be learning at the school, the other students will be learning from home. Families can view group assignments and lunch periods on Skyward today.
Nearly 120 years ago, a Christopher Columbus statue was put in Peoria. Community leaders now bringing attention to the monument, saying it's a celebratory symbol of white supremacy. Last night, a group of local organizations called the Columbus Statue Removal Coalition hosted a virtual town hall. The group asking city leaders to remove the statue from Laura Bradley Park immediately. Christopher Columbus, known to some as the man who found and colonized the Americas, is celebrated nationally every year on October 10th. But some Peorians say Columbus doesn't need to be praised because of his mistreatment of indigenous people. And they say the statue serves as an endorsement for racist behavior.
As beautiful as the statue is, it represents something horrendous and something that is holding back literally the human race from surviving on this planet, because we will either proceed together, caring for each other, or we will fail as a species.
Group members say when telling the story of Christopher Columbus, the full story must be told.
It's unclear if an Illinois Central College professor accused of giving a politically slanted class assignment will be facing any discipline. The Illinois Central College American history professor asked students to write a paper on President Trump. The books that he assigned as the basis for the paper were all critical of the president. In a statement to WMBD, a spokesperson for the college writes in part, quote, presentation of a biased approach of any sort is inconsistent with the free exchange of ideas we promote and is not condoned by the college, end quote.
The city of Bloomington is trying to put an end to large gatherings in the downtown area. Mayor Terry Renner says students from Illinois State and Illinois Wesleyan use party buses to go to downtown bars and restaurants. On Wednesday, he signed an emergency order banning those buses from traveling to Bloomington. He says the problem with the party bus is every seat is packed and most often they're not social distancing. But he admits his order is also sending a message to the restaurants.
I would not hesitate to shut establishments down in terms of pulling their liquor licenses if they didn't abide by social distance.
The order is in effect until September 15th, but Renner says the council will most likely extend that date.
Well, there's another candidate in the running for Bloomington City Council, now in Ward 5.
Mike Straza announced he's running, making him the second candidate. Straza, a current member of the city zoning board, says he's focusing on developing small businesses. He also wants to advance infrastructure and strengthen the community. Ward 5 is currently represented by Johnny Painter, who served since 2014. Patrick Lawler, a teacher at Normal Community High School, announced his candidacy in June.
Looking at the city and where it's at and where we're going right now, especially with COVID, is a big deal. And I look at other small businesses and other people that are hurting from this. And from my experience as a business owner, I feel like this is something I can do to help.
And at this time, Painter has not decided if she'll be running again. Well, an interesting story here. A group of people from METAMORA are going viral on the social media app TikTok for their help in finding a missing man.
It's a story they first shared on TikTok, and more than 6 million people have watched it. After graduating high school, Dana Pace took his daughter Addie and her 2 friends on a graduation trip to Glacier National Park. While driving between stops on the camping trip, they stopped at a flower field along the route.
And the group got out to explore, and that's when they found a phone. After charging it, they were able to get in contact with the sister of the phone's owner. Now, she told them it was the first clue after her brother had disappeared 4 days before, and they hadn't heard from him since.
There was a reason we were there, for sure, because the chances of us being in that exact spot were just so slim.
The group says when they were an hour from home, they got the update that the man had been found. He was found 40 miles away from where they found the phone. They say the sister told them the man was dehydrated and delirious, but he has since recovered. Now here's a look at weather with meteorologist Molly Naisland.
Good morning, everyone. 51 in Peoria on our American Pest Control camera. We are seeing a little bit of clouds this morning, but mainly abundant sunshine. That's going to take us through your Friday today as temperatures reach the upper 70s, keeping the sun and staying a little on the cooler side. But some rainfall is on the way as we go over this weekend. Monday is shaping up to be a nice day before the rainfall returns through next week. Shelby?
6:58 right now. Here's a look at traffic to get you out the door on this Friday. There's a traffic pattern shift on I-74 between milepost 109 and 119 in Woodford County. IDOT crews are removing a barrier wall and resurfacing the lanes. Eastbound traffic will be moving from the westbound lanes to the newly built eastbound lanes. Only one lane will be open, though. In Peoria, crews are fixing a storm sewer line and pavement on West Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Drivers will be restricted to westbound traffic only. That work is expected to be complete today. Also in Peoria, the ramps from Knoxville Avenue to northbound Illinois 6 are closed. Closures are expected to last until the 21st.
Coming up this morning on